It's been 3 weeks since Real Madrid have reached the Champions League final in the staggering fashion, but the sense of wonderment remains. No other team in the long and rich history of the prestigious competition didn't overcome so many seemingly insurmountable obstacles and handle as much adversities as Carlo Ancelotti's side successfully did. On the other hand, Real's miraculous run inevitably left a sense of bewilderment. Let's call it what it was. In the tie against PSG, the Spanish giants were the second best for 150 minutes out of 180, but after that, the great burst of emotions and goals gave them opportunity to reach the quarterfinal stage. In the battle versus Chelsea, Los Blancos, after a solid win in London, were heavily outplayed at the Santiago Bernabeu, and by the 80th minute of the second leg found themselves on the brink of elimination. But then Luka Modric produced his astonishing assist, and in the extra time Karim Benzema's clinical finish proved to be decisive. In the semi-final, Real were constantly behind Manchester City during almost all 2 games, both in terms of score and quality of football. After the goal of Riyad Mahrez in Madrid, the hosts looked completely lost and doomed, and then the biggest comeback happened. These are the impressions, but the numbers perhaps are even more telling. Throughout the amazing 6 games run, the eventual champions of Spain were comprehensively outperformed in 2 very important categories: XG, or so-called expected goals, and distance covered. These stats make Real's achievement even more mystique. So what are the reasons behind it? Was it a pure luck, or maybe something inexplicable and intangible happened? And could we, in this exceptional case, anyhow rely on logic? My answer to the last question is yes, we could apply logic to a story. At first, we should recall what football match is. It represents a series of episodes of different caliber, importance and worth. The most of them barely can influence the outcome due to their insignificance. But there are other episodes. Some matches include 10 or 12 of those, the other ones little less or little more, that could make a direct and huge impact on the net result. Obviously these are goal scoring, potential and real situations, but not only. The less important moments could also become a big factor if we talk about potential game-changing episodes and those ones that happen in the crucial phases of the match, in the final 10-15 minutes. And the truth is that no other team in the Champions League is capable to play through these decisive moments better and more efficiently than Real, with their unique experience, composure, charisma, and stellar individual skills. If we take game as a simple sum of all the episodes, Ancelotti's side wouldn't be able to surpass even the first barrier in the form of PSG. Under these circumstances, the Spanish giants would have been definitely eliminated by Chelsea and Manchester City either. But the essence of football, especially at the highest possible level, is that those 10-12 major episodes, taken separately, could affect the outcome of the game and the whole tie much more often and more true than the complete package of them. In a sense, this scenario is the opposite to the one that exists in boxing, where the win is often awarded on points. Be so in football, the current Real team, one of the slowest and static in the Champions League, with 5 veteran players in the starting lineup, wouldn't have chance to perform in such a spectacular way. But luckily to Ancelotti and company, this sport has different laws characteristics and construction. The likes of Benzema and Modric in their venerable age, and Toni Kroos, Casemiro and Dani Carvajal, who at the early 30s have enough games under their belts in order to be very, aren't capable to be on par with the younger opponents from the other big clubs in the space of long and grueling 90-95 minutes of play. But in those crucial episodes, they are absolutely brilliant, using their craft, intelligence and ability to express themselves in the best possible way in the most important moments. And throughout the spring, we have witnessed it time after time. With Real are a team of Spurs, short but extremely productive. As you may see, no other club in the past 12 years didn't manage to score at least 2 goals in the space of just 5 minutes, as regularly. Having said that, it would be fair to add that in Ancelotti, Madrid found the best manager for this kind of adventure. The ever calm and composed Italian has quietly is one of the best words to describe his whole career in football. He reached the major Euro Cup final for an 8th time if we combine his accomplishments as a player and head coach, and this is a truly immense feat. During this campaign, the unflappable Carlo once again proved how good and efficient he could be if he has at his disposal a well-functioning and experienced squad. Very much like Sir Alex Ferguson, Ancelotti isn't particularly good in improvising. He prefers to conserve things than invent something new. Inheriting from Zinedine Zidane a pretty solid team, albeit after a trophyless season, Carlo confidently relied on its old strengths. Yes, he successfully inserted David Alaba into starting lineup, but it was scarcely a tricky task, given the vacated spot in the center of defense and the Austrians' well-known class and pedigree. There is also a strong and natural temptation to hail the Italian for the impressive progress of Vinicius Jr., who simply flourished under his wise guidance, but I would dare to say that it's more like inertia of Zidane's work, who for 2 years rigorously tried to improve the Brazilians' weak points: intelligence, productivity and ability to play for the team's sake. Otherwise, we have seen the good old Real, with its trademark strengths, brilliantly orchestrating combinations and witty passes, and weaknesses: palpable lack of movement, athleticism and stamina. Ancelotti, and it's his perennial trait, was smart and sensible enough in order to let it go, only slightly adapting the style of play to his liking. And if somebody thinks that not a lot respect in these words, and it's an attempt to diminish the Italian's work and malign him, this virtual skeptic is wrong. The truth is that this was the shortest road to success, and the Italian is certainly clever enough to realize it. At the same time, Carlo did sterling job during the matches itself. The timing of all substitutions made by him was absolutely perfect. His management of the game and reaction to it has been masterful. Moreover, he has been able to transfer his poise to the team, and it definitely reflected in the decisive moments of the playoff. Facing possible and sometimes even seemingly inevitable elimination, Real each time managed to retain composure and stay faithful to their style of play, and it paid off beautifully. The management throughout the games itself was undoubtedly Ancelotti's major coaching output, very much like he did in 2014 during his first stint in Madrid. One stern test awaits him, but there is a growing feeling that it's a proper time for Real to face Liverpool now in 1 game off. Winning La Liga with 4 rounds to spare, Madrid had a few weeks to rest and recuperate energy, which is particularly useful for the veteran players. There is little doubt that the English side is much faster and physically stronger, but at this latest stage of campaign, such advantage should be significantly diminished. Liverpool's domestic season has been much tougher. As a matter of fact, the absence of strong opposition in Primera was one of the keys to Real's European success, and over the course of the last 10 months, the Reds ran probably 600 or even 700 kilometers more, which is an enormous number. Jurgen Klopp's team wear and tear should make things more equal in terms of mobility and pace. Also, it would be right to suggest that Ancelotti's starting 11 would be dictated by the necessity to neutralize, or at least minimize, Liverpool's initial superiority in stamina and fluidity. Alaba, who promptly recovered after his injury, should return to the starting lineup, and Fede Valverde should be there as well in order to control the tempo from the open minutes and prevent the adversary from counterattacks, which is the Reds' ultimate weapon. As for Rodrigo, his assets would be perhaps more useful in the closing moments of the game. The young Brazilian, in the last several years, emerged as a master of substitutions and is particularly prolific on short stints. Real's nifty and elegant passing should be one of the features of the final as well. It's arguably the only way to stop Liverpool's devastating fast breaks, by minimizing the number of turnovers and miscommunications. Madrid are usually very good at it, courtesy to Zidane's coaching, and exactly for the very reason became the most difficult opponent for the Reds in Europe in the last few seasons. It's curious that Ancelotti personally is a bogey opponent for Klopp too, especially if we recall that the Italian thrice defeated the German being at the helm of Napoli and Everton, whilst his counterpart has been already in charge of the mighty English side. So whilst the official odds are in favour of Liverpool, Real also have enough reasons to hope that the craved trophy will go to the Spanish capital for a record-breaking 14th time, and the imperturbable Ancelotti will become not only the first head coach with 4 Champions Cups in his curriculum vitae, but also the one who won his first and last such prizes within the longest time span. And it would be quite an appropriate feat for a man who, and here we could once again compare him to Sir Alex Ferguson, wasn't always sublime in his work, but invariably has been able to bounce back and return to legitimate greatness.